Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to have our friends here once again, Dr. Dave Wendel and, of course, his beautiful wife, Amy Stopczynski. The two of them, better known as the dynamic duo, own the company Shores Wellness Solutions, and they're helping people all over the world. Even though they're based out of Michigan, they're here to talk about all the work they do to help others. And, of course, today we have another great show in store. We're talking a little bit about autoimmune system and, of course, all the ways they can help us. Let me have Amy and Dave say hello to you to start. Go ahead, guys.
Hi, guys. I am Amy Stopczynski, and we are from Shores Wellness Solutions. We're going to talk a little bit today about how to combat autoimmune challenges in a natural way. We're going to talk a little bit about what functional medicine is and how that's different than regular medical care and things like that, and how we do things differently here in our office so we can get you the results that you're looking for.
And I'm Dr. Dave, and I want to thank you for tuning in today. If you need to contact us, you can reach us at 586-445-8032. If you want Amy's cell, that's 586.
Remember that last week. That's right.
Someone gave that out last week, but yeah, you can contact me too. It's
We're giving out social security numbers this week too, if you want.
Our email is changinglives@shoreswellnesssolutions.com, and we'd be more than happy to take on any questions or help you along with any of your health concerns that you may have. And I'm excited about autoimmune disease. I have so much running through my head right now. I can feed you with a fire hose.
Shocker.
Ooh, all right. Well, let's get started. So we're going to talk about combating autoimmune challenges naturally, correct? So let's start with what is functional medicine and how could this be of service to us?
You want to go or do you want me to go?
So functional medicine is about looking at the body differently. Allopathically, since the 1920s, medicine changed back then. That's when the pharmaceutical companies started going to the doctors and saying, listen, we want to bribe you. We want to enhance your income by allowing you to see a patient every 5 minutes instead of every 45 minutes. And the doctors at the time said, oh, Americans would never be that silly to fall for that. Well, in 8 years, the Americans fell for that. And now when you go to a doctor visit, it's really time with the doctor is less than 2 minutes. And so how can they really examine you and see you during that time? And so what are they doing? They're taking your symptoms, and actually there's a staff member usually taking a list of your symptoms. Then the doctor, or now a cheaper way, nurse practitioner, will come in and look at the symptoms and say, okay, and prescribe a drug. That is not healthcare. That's sickness maintenance. That's all that is. Healthcare and functional healthcare is about taking a list of the symptoms and then figuring out why a person has that. And people don't have symptoms. Not one person on earth has symptoms because they lack a drug, because they lack a pharmaceutical. They have symptoms because the body's not functioning correctly. And that leads us into functional medicine, which is about figuring out why a person has symptoms. If a person has a fever, why do they have a fever? Is it below 100 or below 101? Okay, they probably have a viral infection. Is it 102, 103? That's probably a bacterial infection. If it's up to 104, 105, they probably have a parasite. And if they're running cold all the time, it's probably because of a fungus or a yeast that's in their body. And so when you start figuring out what the symptoms mean, you can then take care of a person functionally. We do not use drugs, pharmaceuticals in our office. We use whole food supplementation. So we're working on super feeding the body what's been missing so the body can not only restore itself to health, but also then maintain health once it's there. And if you've had sickness for years or decades, it's not an overnight fix. And sure, there are times when we understand there are times when you might need a pharmaceutical product to help you get over the edge of something. But if you're living on it for your life, that's not healthcare, that's sickness maintenance. Go ahead.
that was a lot of information.
I got a lot. Before.
That's all right. So when you're looking at functional medicine, we're looking at things very differently. We want to get to the root cause. We don't want to just mask your symptoms, because giving you a medication, although sometimes you need something like that temporarily for a moment, there's always instances, you're in a car accident or something and you need to have surgery. Sometimes you do need something temporarily, but for long-term support, the problem with just masking it with a medication is, let's say you're not taking that medication. well, is it still there or is it resolved? We
Yeah.
want to heal the body, and the body is meant to heal itself. It's made to do that. If it's given the right things, it heals. If you give it the wrong things, it gets sick. And so we want to give you the right things and the right tools so your body can heal and be well and get rid of those diseases and misfunctions in the body.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All right. Well, let's continue to talk about this because, by the way, not everybody is aware even what, is an autoimmune disease or disorder. Could you give us some examples to explain that a little further?
Certainly. An autoimmune is self-immune, the body attacking itself and breaking itself down.
And it's a disease of the immune system, basically. And the immune system is what keeps you healthy. That keeps your body functioning the way that it's supposed to.
Correct. And when the body is working overtime, it's a rudimentary way to explain it, but when it's working overtime, it's going to start attacking itself and breaking itself down. The question that nobody covers, sorry, shouldn't use that. The question that's rarely covered is not many people talk about why, or they speculate why. And allopathically, they really circumvent the research that's out there. And a lot of autoimmune diseases are due to heavy metal toxicity, heavy metal poisonings. Well, where do we get these heavy metal poisonings? Well, it starts off as babies when we start injecting vaccines into our kids. And I'll use the B word, get shut up, I don't care. But when you start doing that, you're putting in mercury, you're putting in aluminum into these babies. And now we're doing it full-time into adults. When you go into a pharmacy, they ask you, have you had your 5 vaccines? Flu is one, shingles is another, pneumonia is another. I forget the other 2, it'll come to me, and they have to ask you every one and then offer it to you. And you say, oh, well, that's a great service. No, it's not. It's purely money-making. If these if these pharmacies just did 20 of those a day, that would generate $2.2 million a year for them just by doing 20 a day. And they do so much more. So it's not about the health of a person. It's about generating the money for these facilities. We get these people that come in that have been injured from these things with the heavy metal toxicities and these autoimmune conditions. And now we have to work on correcting the function of their immune system.
Yes. Okay. So with all of that being said, a lot of times too, so you've got these, it's attacking your healthy cells. It's attacking the things that are good, being mistaken for negative things, trying to get it out of the body. So it causes your body to dysfunction a lot. It could show up as lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, psoriasis, Graves' disease, Hashimoto's, vasculitis. There's inflammatory bowel disease. There's a lot of things that it'll show up as, but that doesn't mean you're stuck with that for life. Yeah. We're going to work with you to get the heavy metals out of the body using whole food supplements. We want to get those things that we're going to be exposed to things, whether we're purposely putting them into our bodies or not. And the foods that we eat, what we breathe, the air, there's chemicals on everything. They treat all the crops with chemicals. So sometimes your body is going to be exposed to things, whether you like it or not, which when that happens, and then the body starts attacking your healthy cells, thinking it's an invader, now you get all these different types of diseases that show up. So we're going to talk a little bit more about how to recognize it, supplements and things you can use to help pull those toxins out of the body. Another thing is the gut. We're going to talk about having a healthy gut, which is the main thing that's going to resolve a lot of your issues, just that alone. So there's a lot of things that can be done to help combat all these symptoms that you're experiencing so we can really help your body function well.
Okay.
I love the two of you when you look at each other like, aren't you supposed to speak? Are you going to back me up? Don't you have more to say? They are so cute.
I have a lot to say. I want to make sure that it. And I know I'm picking on the pharmaceutical industry, but I can pick on the candy industry also.
Absolutely.
There's candies out there that are, chocolates that are candy coated. And the question is, well, what do they use in those candy coats? Aluminum. That's what makes them. Yeah, that's what makes them, not melt in your hands. And, so you look at the different things that are out there, and it's really a toxic society. And so when you get enough of these toxins in your body, the body will start to break itself down. With autoimmune You're right if I keep going? Yeah, okay. With autoimmune issues, and Amy nailed it. You have to support the gut health. If you're not going to correct gut health and take care of that so you get the right microbiome in your gut, you're not going to have a lot of success with the healing process. Once you get the gut straightened out, then you have to work on restoring immune function. We're using Rumania and Echinacea Premium, we call it. It's a few types of echinacea together to work on restoring the immune system and the function of that. And we're also using a product that's made by Standard Process products called PMGs. And there's 23 different ones based on what gland or organ is dysfunctional. And you need those 3 products initially to start with the rebuilding aspect of the nervous system. There's more to it, but that's a good start. Go ahead.
So I want to go over a few common causes of autoimmune complications. So a lot of it is excess inflammation in the body, and we're going to talk about how to get rid of that and to address that. Inflammation is very prominent. We've talked about that in previous podcasts and earlier weeks about inflammation and how it really does affect the body negatively. So we need to work on reducing that inflammation. Having a weakened microbiome, intestinal issues, parasites, and things like that can cause a big issue for the body to not function well. Chronic infections are important. Food sensitivities, exposures to toxins, all of those things play a role in how the body's functioning or not functioning. And so when you come to us, we're going to check that. We use test kits and things so we can check to see what is causing stress on your body. And we also look at what's going to get rid of whatever we found. And so by using whole food supplements, we can actually sit down and test you and see, do you have chemicals? Do you have parasites? Do you have fungus, mold? What's particularly causing those issues? And what can we do to help rectify it? What supplements are needed to pull those chemicals out of the body? What is it is needed? We even dose you to the right amount. So we're giving you exactly what your body needs so it can heal and repair. So it is really important to not just mask it, but heal it. Let's heal those organs and get rid of the things causing the inflammation in your body so it can heal and repair.
Right.
Shores Wellness Solutions. Just remind us how we can reach out to you since we're about halfway. It's always a good time to, people tuning in halfway. Remind us, Miss Amy, please.
You can reach us on our website, shoreswellnesssolutions.com. If you're local, we would do testing that way. If you're out of the area, we also offer telehealth. So there's a lot of other testing and things we can do virtually as well to help resolve your symptoms and get you well. You can email us at changinglives@shoreswellnesssolutions.com, or you can give us a call at 586-445-8032.
Beautiful.
Look at that.
That's awesome.
Awesome. What else do we have in store? A great conversation today. I'm learning a lot, and I hope our listeners are too, obviously. Please, let's continue the conversation. We're talking here today, again, about autoimmune disorders, diseases, and how to treat them naturally with the help of people like yourself.
All right. So what can we do to help you? We first want to address inflammation in the body and look at reducing that. We're going to go through dietary changes, making sure that we're cutting out anything that's causing disruption in the body, because there are a lot of people who have different allergies to different foods as well. And if you keep eating them, it's going to cause your body to continue attacking itself. So we need to see what's going on that way. We're going to work on healing the gut, because you want to have the right microbiome in your gut. You want to have the right probiotics and things, which we'll talk about a little bit more, so we can make sure that the gut is doing what it needs to do and that you're able to digest your food properly as well. Because if it's not working well and you can't digest your food properly, you can't absorb nutrients and minerals. So it's really, really important to make sure that your digestive tract is working well, which is something we also check here in our office, because we can give you supplements, or people go out and they're like, hey, I need to take these things. But if you're not digesting your food properly and you're not absorbing the nutrients and minerals, it's not doing you any good. So we don't want to only give you the supplementation to take. We also want your body to absorb it and actually do what it needs to do to heal what's going on with the body. We're going to talk about supplementations. There's different supplements that can use to help resolve things in the body, detoxification as well, physical activity, getting your body moving, sweating so you can get all the gunk out. You know, you don't want it stuck in there. We want to get rid of those toxins. How to handle stress. Stress management is very, very important. Being in a constant state of stress and anxiety and all of those things, and not taking time for yourself to relax and get rid of those negative thoughts and feelings, play a big role in how your body heals or if it stays more sickly. So relaxation techniques and just figuring out what's best for you. So it's a whole body solution. Basically, we want to help you in all the ways so you can feel your best and live a long life without all those symptoms that you're experiencing.
Yeah, because, you know, if you take a drug, all right, so you'll feel better. And we're not going to say don't, because it's up to a person to know how they feel. And they want to feel, as I call it, human, as opposed to, you know, just being in discomfort and pain all the time. And the most important aspect to understand is healing takes time. I look at health and conditions when people are sickly. Their health is like a freight train. It's 100 cars long, over a mile, heading downhill on a track at 25, 30 miles an hour, fully loaded. When you finally realize that you're on the wrong track and you need to do something, you know, the engineer hits the brakes, but that train doesn't stop on a dime. That train could take 3 to 5 miles before it stops because of the speed, the momentum that it has. Once it stops, now it's a matter of the train backing up. The engine has to touch the first car. Then you have to back up to the first car touches the second, and so on. And once all 100 cars are touching, then you can start gaining momentum back up the hill in reverse to switch tracks where you need to come down for health. And we have been taught so much that, you know, take this pill and you'll be great. That's not what it is. And Amy nailed it. She really did. You have to correct gut health first. That could take couple weeks or months, sometimes even longer, just to correct it enough so your body can absorb the things that you need. And then we have to work on boosting the immune system. How do you do that? You have to make sure there's enough calcium in the body. And please stop taking over-the-counter calciums. That calcium carbonate, calcium citrate, calcium magnate that you get out there, the body can't really absorb that. They'll tell you it can, but it really can't. It's the same as going out and taking a file and just scraping the sidewalk and then taking that for your calcium source. It's not going to fix the body. Once you correct that calcium, now you can go forward and start doing some detoxification. Probiotics might be involved, but probiotics don't work in replacing gut flora, which people have been thought to believe. Probiotics work in helping to control the environment so your gut flora, the good ones, can start to repair themselves. And that's how probiotics work. It's not about replacing. It's
and
about.
Then it gets so confusing. The Lacetolophasis, 30 million, billion, trillion. I'm like, what is this? What ones do I need? Which ones? I don't understand that concept either. But just for a good probiotic, what do you recommend?
Prosymbiotic is awesome by standard process. The ones that we use are all antibiotic resistant. So if someone's on an antibiotic, they need to take a probiotic. But if you're taking a probiotic while you're on the antibiotic, you're just wiping it out. Ours are resistance. We have 5 different ones that are antibiotic resistance because just the way that they're formulated, they're more powerful than the antibiotic, number one. And number two, they're made from food. And being made from food, antibiotics won't have.
Okay.
And when you are on an antibiotic, it does disrupt your gut health. So especially people who've been on it prolonged and for over and over and over because of infections and things, their gut is very messed up. So it's going to take some time to really feed that gut what it needs so it can heal and repair. And there are really 4 steps in repairing and healing the gut. The first thing you want to do is you want to remove any irritants in the gut. So you want to see any inflammatory foods that you're eating. You want to stop that, toxins in the body. You want to get rid of those things. And so if you're not sure what's causing those issues, that's again where we come in place. You can come in, we'll check you to see what foods your body's having an issue with, what toxins are in the body, what chemicals and heavy metals are in the body, so we can remove those. So you want to remove everything that is causing irritation in the gut.
What diet would you recommend? or what protocol?
Well, we do a couple different things based on, what's going on. We would use either a phase 1 food plan, or we would use total body reset as well, clear out the liver and things. So depends on what we find. There's a few different protocols that we would do. Another one that we're doing and promoting right now is purification. 21-day purification also is a great jump start to teaching you the right foods to eat, what is inflammatory to get that out of your system, and then making sure after you finish that protocol, you're going to slowly add the inflammatory things. Eggs can be inflammatory. There's a lot, all the processed food obviously is very.
Did you say eggs? Eggs?
They can be, not for everyone.
Okay.
Eggs are good, but not for everyone.
Okay.
So there's certain things like that, nuts, things like that some people have more sensitivity to. And remember, everybody's body is different. So that's why we want to check to see what is going on with you specifically, so we can make sure we're helping you rid the body of the things that aren't working well for you. Not everyone has that issue, but if you add it back in slowly and you're starting to see issues, you're not feeling well and things like that afterwards, that that's not going to work very well for your body, and maybe you're going to keep that food out long term. So it so it is important to first learn what's causing issues and remove those things from your diet, so your body and your gut can start healing and doing what it needs to do.
Yeah, and I really like the 21-day purification, because that's 3 weeks where you're actually not polluting your body, and you're giving the body a chance to hit that brake on that freight train so it can start to slow down. And after the 3 weeks, I would recommend total body reset. We have watched patients with various significant things, from autoimmune disease to cancer.
Lowering their cholesterol substantially by doing that.
But once they're on total body reset, we've watched cancers reverse where they're just not found. And it's just incredible when you start healing the health. And with autoimmune, you have to do that. You have to heal the gut first, because you have to make sure you're getting the right things in.
Next up, you want to replace. So with your gut, it's not breaking things down well. So you want to be able to help with digestion, using digestive enzymes, which are going to help you break down your food, so you can make sure that you're digesting your food properly, so you can absorb those nutrients and minerals. You want to have fibers, vitamins, minerals, acids. There's things like that you want to replace that's been missing in your gut for a long period of time. And we have a lot of different digestive enzymes that we would test you for as well, because everyone's body is different again. And so not everyone needs the same digestive enzyme to help break things down. Sometimes you might need help breaking down more fats, and other people might need to help break down more proteins and different things. So there are different digestive enzymes that we're going to use to help your body digest the food properly as well.
My favorite one would be Zypan, because Zypan's all encompassing. It'll help increase stomach acid, which most people need. It will help with the digestion of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. So it's a great supplement. I would actually put that up against any other digestive enzyme or tablet that's out there.
And then you also need to rebalance your gut. You want to make sure you're rebalancing the gut bacteria as well. And we talked a little bit about probiotics, prebiotics into your diet, because if you killed off all of the things that are going to help your gut work the way it's supposed to, sometimes you need to add those things back into your digestive tract. You can also find probiotics in foods such as yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kombucha.
The fermented foods.
All the fermented foods are really, really great at helping that gut do what it needs to do and get those good probiotics back in, so the gut can do what it needs to do as well.
Taking a pause. Awesome.
Well, I thought you were going to.
So some of these products that we're mentioning, if you're interested in, you can find them on our website, shoreswellnesssolutions.com. And just when you go there, just click on supplements, and that'll take you right to a guide. If you're not sure, contact us at 586-445-8032. Or you can send us an email at changinglives@shoreswellnesssolutions.com. Almost gave out your personal email.
That's all right.
Yep.
And the last thing you want to make sure you're doing is repairing. So now we're
Yes.
correcting all those things. We're getting rid of the things that aren't working well. We're adding the right things in to digest our food. We also want to repair whatever's going on.
That's backing up the track.
Yes, because chronic inflammation and stress really compromises the gut and makes it not work well. So you want to make sure you're eating foods that are high in zinc, vitamins A, D, C, fatty acids. I'm going to go through the alphabet here. And things that are going to help restore your gut.
And lots of fats. Most people do not eat enough fats. Our diet should be no less than 50% fat. And if you have a health concern, a chronic one, your diet should probably be closer. Well, not probably. It should be closer to 70% fat. Our cancer patients, we put them on no less than 70. We want them on 70 to 75% fat, about 15% protein and 10% carb. And that's why we have success with them, because they're not getting the carb to feed the cancers. But when you get enough fats in the diet, the body will start to repair and replenish itself the way that it should.
Yep.
So some of the supplements that are going to work for you, vitamin D, very important to help balance the immune responses.
May I?
Yeah.
Thanks. Vitamin D, you never want to take alone. We have an epidemic right now, autoimmune thing, called osteoporosis. You say, well, why? Why do we have that now and we never had it? Well, there's a few reasons, but one of the contributing factors is doctors are putting their patients on these high doses of vitamin D without an absorbable form of calcium and without essential fats. And if you take vitamin D without those two, you stimulate the parathyroid glands to produce more parathyroid hormone to help with the balancing of calcium. Where does that calcium come from? Well, the parathyroid hormone pulls it out of your bones, which leads to the osteoporosis. So if you're taking vitamin D, you must have an absorbable form of calcium and an essential fat with it to prevent osteoporosis. Okay.
Got it. Well, thank you guys.
All right. So zinc is another important factor that you want. It's going to help regulate cells and reduce inflammation in the body. And so we really want to make sure that is added into your diet with autoimmune as well, because we want the inflammation to go away. And that is a big thing that's going to help. Glutathione.
Right. Zinc comment.
Yes.
All right. So if you don't have enough stomach acid, which most people over 25 don't, you will not absorb zinc. And that's why Zypan is such a great digestive aid, because it helps to reacidify the stomach with the acid so that you can absorb the zinc.
Yeah. Eating foods such as spinach, avocado, asparagus, okra, broccoli. Those are also going to help with like detoxification in the body, help the body function well. And you want your omega-3 fatty acids. Really important to help get rid of the inflammation in your body. It's very important.
Got it. And I apologize. We have to go. We are over time. Would you mind sharing how we could reach you guys?
Sure. Shores Wellness Solutions. We are at 586-445-8032. If you want to email us, it's changinglives@shoreswellnesssolutions.com.
And our website is shoreswellnesssolutions.com. Again, I'm Amy, and this is Dr. Dave from Shores Wellness Solutions. And just know we want to be your inspiration
For healthy living.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. See you next week.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcasts on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.